5, 4. Counting down always helps. I bet you. Shit, I bet we're live. What do you think?
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Nancie, welcome.
Hey.
The top of your head is out of the frame.
Oh, you really want to see the top of my head? Sure. All right, hold on. You want to see my...
And she freezes. We froze. We're having an internet kind of day for those who are tuning in later or tonight. So Zoom broke and our audio broke. Or Nancie, are you back now?
I'm back.
You're
yes.
Again. You're moving. Awesome. We'll do this in spurts.
A lot of editing.
Welcome, one and all, to Myth Brigade and our preparation for our Kult Divinity Lost campaign. So, horror RPG by Helmgast, and Petter Nallo is actually the artist and visionary behind the story. Although the game's been around since the 90s. We've had some kind of kind words from Petter, which is pretty cool. He's clicked like on a thing or two that we've posted, so that's awesome.
Nice.
We're so we're famous among our small circles, mostly my house pets and stuff. Anyway, so what we're doing with this is we are creating characters collaboratively. So we've gotten 3 of the 4 done. So that's what we're here to do with Nancie. But first, this is your first role-playing game. You never played before.
Well, I played D&D a long time ago, but I only got to the character creation section where you have the paper and, a number 2 pencil. So I didn't really get to experience the final finishing touches or even actually play the game. So if you can, kind of show me what's going on here.
I think we can.
Amazing.
Steve's a newbie too, so Steve is
okay. Good.
And his character is completely fucking twisted, so I'm excited for that. Cool. So what I did is we're using Roll20, and we have a built-in character sheet for Cult, so I've got that up, and I'll transcribe as we go. And then you can do whatever. If you want to have your number 2 pencil and paper and stuff, that's fine too. But otherwise, I'll link it to your Roll20 account, and you can get in there and make notes and whatever. So first things first. This is a horror campaign that we decided is set in the 1980s, which is pretty cool. You stoked for that or what?
Yeah. Oh, I am. I am dying for it.
Sadly, I was a young man in the 80s, and I remember some horrible trends like rat tails and mullets. And
they were still popular in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I survived.
Depending on where you're from.
So that alone, I think that's going to be the horror story, is just the fact that there's a mullet.
Mullets.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's set in the 1980s. We're going to use Chicago as our backdrop.
Okay.
And based on what we had talked about before, so there are 2 characters that are homeless. And I won't go into why, because we're going to get together and discuss bonds, right? And what you know about each other and all that stuff. That'll be our last prep session before we kick off. And then there's a priest who was actually made last night. It's got a really compelling story too. So where do you fit into this? What's your shtick as far as an archetype goes?
Well, we discussed, the whole investigation thing. I was playing around with doing. There's 2 different options for me. One, I am a paranormal investigator who has played with the dark arts, or I can be a regular investigator. As far as, however, journalist or whatever who has come upon the dark arts. Of occultism or finding out what's happening in the world. So I'm trying to figure out which one would be better. I kind of like the idea of being a regular investigator.
Okay. So
and finding out about stuff later, yeah.
So that's on page 66 for those of you who are loyally following along in your core rule books. That would be probably, of course, all of you.
The detective.
Oh, I'm told I have to turn my volume up because I'm being too quiet. All right. Hold on to your horses. That should be much better. According to the meters, it's better. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. We had major audio troubles tonight, so it could be a little flakier at first. Okay, cool. So, yeah, so the regular detective on page 66 talks about be they the disillusioned private eye in their office, shrouded in clouds of cigarette smoke, or hardened investigators on the homicide unit. The detective is motivated by their desperate need to find answers. Meanwhile, their families disintegrate, friends abandon them, and they fall into a spiral of darkness and addiction. You know, there's not a whole lot of happy birthdays for these days.
It's perfect for my bubbly personality, right?
Yeah, but it fits. So the occupations that covers are like beat cop, private eye, lawyer, and those sorts of things, but also detective, medium, hacker, cryptologist, and conspiracy theorist. So what got your character into paranormal investigation? What was this, like a collegiate pursuit, like parapsychology?
It was just in general, being a child, seeing things. She could have a lot of unanswered questions, and she's been trying to hunt the truth for a long time. It could be something like Linda Blair, where she could have been possessed at one time when she was a child.
Nice. And you froze. Those of you who are watching, this is what happens when Nancie becomes possessed by the internet. We'll wait. We'll watch for her to move around. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to go ahead and type in the detective. Okay, you're back. Hi. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. After my drama, I'm taking forever. Oh, hey, Mike. Occupation. So inside of that, are you thinking professionally? You're starting to talk about it, and you kind of went right. So Linda Blair, possessed, dark history. Do you investigate this stuff professionally? Are you a medium that's hired to come in and check things out, or?
No, I was thinking about doing it on the side because, you know, my family and friends don't believe in this. So I know it's real. So I'm going to continue with that. But me knowing that is kind of comes into, you know, my advantages, which we'll talk about later on.
Yeah. So, so what do you do? What do you do? Do you work for Progressive Auto Insurance and paranormal?
Oh yeah. No, no. I'm definitely. I want to work for some kind of you know, establishment. You know, or I could be rogue.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the detective goes.
So like a normal job, or are you an investigator professionally and then supernaturally on the side? Okay.
Yes. But I hide that side of me.
Got it. So to your detective friends, right? They're just, you know, you're kind of looking into affairs and divorce situations and whatnot, and insurance scams. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So that makes sense. So you're basically. Is that Rivers? I think that's Rivers. Maybe. If it's Rivers, hi Rivers. I think I fixed the audio now.
Hello.
Sorry. It's been a fucking night. Cool. So you work for a private detective agency or something of the sort.
Yes.
On the side, you're fairly obsessed with this paranormal stuff that you know exists. You're chasing the truth. I like that.
Chasing the truth, absolutely.
Have you thought of a dark secret? Don't tell anyone, because you'll tell everyone. Have you thought of a dark secret that this young woman carries around in her nugget?
Yeah, I did. I mentioned it. You know,
nobody go back.
Well, I could have been, you know, lagging at the moment, but I was thinking about having.
There you're lagging again. Damn it. What the F? You can hear me. Streamlabs OBS says you can hear me. And for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. So
where do we leave off? Come on.
Yeah, so you were talking about Mike says your dark secret is horrible internet. So
yeah. All right. No, that can work. That can definitely work.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not gonna deal with that right now. We're gonna have to limp along. Sorry about that, guys. I'll throw out some compression and see if that helps. This is why we need an engineer. Rivers, grab a plane. Come engineer. Okay, it's better. So some compression helped, and also so your internet's back. So let's just fucking do this while we have internet.
Quick, go.
Yeah, so you've thought about your dark secret, and we won't talk any more about that because we'll develop those separately. Disadvantages. So your selection of an archetype, you get to choose both of your disadvantages. Some of them are handed to other archetypes. So some suggestions are drug addict, infirm, nightmares, repressed memories, or stalker. And there are others. Go
ahead.
No, there are others as well, but those are some examples that fit the archetype pretty well.
I went ahead and I chose nightmares and repressed memories.
Ooh, nightmares. What do you have nightmares about? Unless you're going to talk about your dark secret, in which case...
The dark secret, which is repressed memories.
All right, fine. You have scary nightmares, mostly about velociraptors. Yeah, by velociraptors.
Yes.
Okay.
Huge claws.
Everybody's terrified of those. Cool. So let's check that out. So nightmares, basically you suffer from recurring nightmares, probably connected to your dark secret. Okay, fair. During any scene where you sleep, you actually have to roll. And depending on how you roll, you may sleep in peace. You may have horrific nightmares, or the nightmares may actually take over you completely. You're trapped in the dream until you find a way to wake up. And I get to torture you with whatever horrific things I can imagine that you dream of. Once I know more about your dark secret. That's cool. So you've got nightmares and repressed memories also tying back to your dark secret?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
So life was pretty normal for her, I guess, right? Before that thing happened that we don't discuss.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
That we will not discuss.
At least you're not a walking disaster. So Steve's character...
I saw that shit. Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Freddy Krueger. That's a good point, actually. That movie is going to come out soon in our time frame. Repressed memories. So you've repressed a particularly unpleasant event from your past, but the memory of it sometimes rises to the surface. Could be a crime or some horrible thing you've done, been subjected to, or witnessed, or eaten. It doesn't say that, but... the GM decides the nature of your repressed memory, usually based on your dark secret. In situations associated with your repressed memories, so places that you've been or situations similar to that one, you roll to determine if you freak the hell out. Man, you're going to be like the least stable investigator ever. Fine. Okay.
I can't wait.
So nightmares about velociraptors and a repressed...
You bastard.
I swear to God, I've got to buy myself a new keyboard. This keyboard is like the size of an 80s calculator. Sorry.
Oh, God. What are you doing with your life?
Look at my giant hands in this
little
tiny...
Oh, my God. Mine's huge.
Yeah. I could deal with 30% more keyboard. Okay, so thinking about... nope, wrong field too. So those are your disadvantages. And you lie. Going between Mac and Windows is also a treat. Command does not do what you would expect it to on Windows. Advantages. So things that are good, things that are positive about your character, give her an edge. So you've got 3 from the list below. So fast talk, interrogator, instinct, read a crowd, shadow, crime scene investigator, dreamer, or enhanced awareness. What do you think?
Well, I have enhanced awareness is one of the ones that I chose.
Why did you choose that?
It's almost kind of like an empath in a sense. You know, you feel stuff around you. You know, you can sense people's emotions really well. You know, and you can almost feel, you know, what's going to happen sometimes. I think that would be good for her.
Yeah, that does actually make sense. Maybe helping
you know what's going on because of your ability to scan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Okay. So enhanced awareness, and did you have any others in mind? I'm assuming you did.
Did you mention? Did you mention instinct?
I did. I didn't read it though.
Oh well, instinct is one of them.
Why?
Perception.
So you're incredibly intuitive. I'm sensing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not gonna be able to put much past.
I'm fucked up, but I'm intuitive.
Yes.
Right on.
Cool. So why instinct? What was it about that you felt would round your character out?
Well, it's just having the excuse me, I'm just clicking on stuff right now. Being able to figure something out by a way, what instinctual ability. It's just being able to sense things, which also comes with the awareness. I thought that would be a good way to incorporate the two of them together. I don't know if that helps.
No, it does. And since you did your homework and you read, why don't you tell the massive crowd out there on the stream, what does instinct do for you?
Let's see. Well, it brings it gives you feelings, so any feelings that I get, if it's bad, I follow what I want to do with that, as far as go for it, don't go for it, follow your gut kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so basically anytime you are asked to observe a situation, so in other role-playing games, a lot of skills are very specific. So you would have a search roll, or you might have a perception attribute or something. In Kult, they roll these up. So if you're trying to kind of see through someone's bluff, or if you're trying to spot a situation that's going on, there's this kind of blanket action you can take called observe a situation. So basically, you get +2 instead of +1 for that, which is cool. Gives you sort of that insight bonus. What else? So there's a third one there that you get to take. So you've got read a crowd. Go ahead.
The third one is read a crowd. Now I'm kind of curious about that because it falls under the perception category. Mm-hmm. So how would that work with this character that we are creating right now, as far as in your eyes?
So whenever you move through a small crowd to gather information, you basically get to roll your perception, right? So, give some examples of what a small crowd would be, like before the boys became friends with the weird science girl, for example, since we're talking the 80s, right? But you decide what specific information you're looking for, and as long as it makes sense, you get to roll, and particularly you can get that out of the crowd. So a practical example might be you're trying to move through and see if anyone in the crowd is suspicious or some such thing, right? You would roll. If the result was 9 or below, you only get to ask one question, but you've blown your cover and made yourself obvious, so it works against you. If you roll 10 to 14, you get to ask 2 questions, but you also draw unwanted attention to yourself. Maybe someone comes to harass you or get suspicious. Your cover's not blown, but it's in jeopardy. And then 15 or above in that situation, you get to ask 3 questions. And the questions are essentially, who here has the information I want? So if you started with that question, it would lead you into the old man in the corner who's there every Sunday and, pays attention to everyone else's business. Where can I find what I'm looking for? Who is watching me? Herbie Hancock. And is there anything else of interest? So you get to ask those questions in any order that you'd like. I have to respond truthfully, vaguely maybe, but truthfully nonetheless. No. So is that what you're going to take?
Yes, sir, that is.
Read a crowd.
Let's do this.
Nice. Next step. Mathy math. It's not really math. Assignment, allocation. So you have 2 types of attributes. If you watched we've done 3 of these videos before, you're like, Jesus, I know this shit, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You got 2 types of attributes, active and passive. So we'll start with the passive ones, things that are just that way about you. Those are fortitude, willpower, and reflexes. You've got a +2, a +1, and a +0 that you can allocate to those however you want.
All right, so I have decided, and I have written down that I'm going to go ahead and go with the +2 for fortitude.
Nice. You're a brawler, huh? You can take an uppercut. Okay.
All right. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and then we're going to do +1 in reflexes.
Nice. And the +0 would be in keep it together, or in willpower.
Yeah. Willpower.
Yeah. So there's actually an action that's used a whole lot in this game, which is called keep it together. So when some super crazy shit happens to you, you get asked to roll to keep it together. And depending on how you roll, you have to determine how your character plays out the result, similar to the other ones. So I like, though, that if you think about it, like you're sensitive, you're very empathetic, you're just surrounded by everyone else's feelings, and you don't have the strongest will, so you can't shut it out. And maybe you freak straight the fuck out every once in a while. Like my daughter once in a while.
Can't wait for that moment.
Oh god, no, yeah, you can. Okay, so the next are your active attributes, things that you use on purpose. So you have reason, intuition, perception, coolness, violence, charisma, and soul. Your allocations are +3, +2. 2 +1s, +0, a -1, and a -2. So all the way from fantastic to not so great.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start out with charisma.
Okay.
All right. So I get a +1 in that.
Okay.
All right. Coolness. I put a -1, -1 in that.
See, I can tell. This is, yeah. Good.
Intuition, obviously, we're going to go with +3.
Okay. That's solid.
Perception is +1.
Okay.
Reason, 0. Soul, +2.
Nice.
-2 in violence.
You're not a scrapper. You can just take a punch, right?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I mean fortitude. That's it. Taking a punch.
Awesome. So for the memorial here on the stream, what does your character look like? What's her vibe? Like, if we were to see her walking around that diner looking for that old man who might have seen some clue, what's her vibe?
I'm going for a casual, just jeans, yellow tank top, some boots. She's thin, maybe my height, 5'7".
So like mom jeans, though.
Yeah, mom jeans.
Yeah.
They have to go up above the muffin top.
Yes.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Gotta hold it in.
And then some maybe Reeboks or something, right? Like in terms of.
Yes.
At least you didn't say parachute pants, because I might have just rage quit this entire hobby because I had a pair of parachute pants.
Acid wash jeans.
Yes, acid wash.
You did.
Mom
What
jeans.
color?
Black.
Oh.
It was during my Michael Jackson phase, which, for those who see this later, you'll understand what the math problem there was. If you've ever seen me attempt to dance, even more so. So casual clothes, so you blend in more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How old is this person?
36.
36. Okay. So middle age, sorta. Younger middle age.
Almost. Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite in the midlife crisis stage yet.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Well, so in terms of physical appearance, so is she? Does she have the poofy bangs that they had in the 80s and lots of makeup and that kind of thing, or is she more?
We're gonna go with that. Clown makeup. I definitely need the bangs. And I wanted something with. Remember the women in the 80s where it was short on top, and they had it long in the back. It was like a lady mullet. You know what I'm talking about?
It's called a femullet, I think.
There you go.
A femullet. Yeah.
this terminology.
So you're going to have a femullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really old. John says really old. That's because John's just a baby. He plays on the Tides of Nurgle campaign. And I'm going to punish this character on the 25th for saying that I'm old.
Nice to meet you, dude.
So we know her face is painted. Maybe she does that to cover up. Maybe she does it to kind of hide behind the makeup and the big hoop earrings and stuff.
Yes.
What do her eyes say about her? Like if you made eye contact with her and kind of read her, what vibe would you get?
Well, are we going to have eyes that are direct on, or do you need one crossed out, or what? It doesn't matter.
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm thinking, we're going to go with, brown eyes. We're going to do empathetic and warm. But she has to hide that. She has to wear all that paint.
Does she habitually chew gum? Or something like that.
I like that. Yeah. Let's do it. And I'll chew gum on stream too.
Oh, sweet! Just get some big league chew, because that was big in the '80s, and just eat a fat wad of that.
Oh,
and just,
yeah. Yep.
Okay. So far we're thinking kind of 36, kind of older but younger at the same time, caring eyes, lots of makeup, a femullet. Yeah, I like that. What's her name? Felicia Femullet?
Her name is Angela.
Angela. What's her last name?
Chase.
Chase.
And those of you, I don't know if anybody has ever watched My So-Called Life, but the main character was Angela Chase. Don't call me a nerd. I know, I realize it. It was one of my favorite shows.
Oh, at least you didn't name yourself Hermione Granger or something like that. And you froze. I'll wait. Hi, guys in chat. What's going on? It is past John's bedtime because he gets to spend time with some special folks tomorrow, I heard. Mike, I'm glad you guys could show up, man. We're getting close. Hey. She's back. Hi. I can't wait until we're in the middle of this thing and it's like, the creature looms over you and opens its drooling maw. What do you do? And you're just like, anyway.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'll get it fixed. I'll hardwire into the modem over there.
That's fine. Yeah, my internet was busted. My audio was busted. I am almost out of wine, so I'm not doing this well at all. But we're almost done, so I'm excited we get to start soon. Okay, Angela Chase. Let's talk a little bit about this whole this past of yours and this story. So how did you get into investigation? Did you want to be a cop or a detective when you were younger and kind of go to school for it? Or did you train kind of in an apprenticeship situation? How did you get there?
Well, I was thinking about going with maybe one of my parents were murdered by some sort of supernatural force that sort of took me over as well. And from then on, I wanted to get into any type of investigating that I could get myself into, which plays into the part of the paranormal thing. What do you think about that?
Maybe it follows your family. Maybe
like a curse almost.
Yeah, it's been there a long time, and maybe there was a weird situation with your family deaths where you can sort of link them together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Maybe it tried to get you and it failed.
We grew up on this farm out, in rural Chicago in the 80s, and we found out it was owned by, a mass murderer who killed, people who beat him in the yard for all we know. So that's what I was thinking.
Nice. So you had this particular spot where the flowers grew really well.
Yeah, very fertilized.
I was curious about what was under there, Cool.
It's the calcium from the bones,
So you got this history of strange deaths, and you were the curious kid, right? Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I do. I have brothers and sisters.
Are they still alive?
Yeah, they are alive, and they don't speak to me anymore because of this.
How do you think they're dealing with that tragic accident of your third sibling? The accident involving the train and the car that wouldn't run.
Well, one of them is into drugs now, and the other one is just a habitual sex addict. So we can go with that.
Nice. And 80s habitual sex addict, which is different. It's like
call girl.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So maybe they think it was your fault. Maybe they think it should have been you. Because
I was always the one opening doors and looking through books and trying to find things. So
you pissed it off, whatever it was, right?
Like apparently I did.
Yeah. Never do that, by the way. You know better. So you got into investigation. Paranormal investigation is kind of the hobby, right? The detective agency that you work for, is it profitable? Is it well funded, or is it a shithole?
I'm thinking it's higher class, well funded.
So you've got, cheddar, as they say, or what would they say back then? Bread, maybe in the 80s.
Bread.
I don't remember.
Wheat bread. But I kind of like that idea of being going over the top on my appearance, because it's almost as if I am undercover.
Yeah.
I'm trying to blend in while I'm trying to solve things. So.
I like that. And so your paranormal investigations, though, more recently, to tie you back, have had you hanging out in some pretty unsavory places around the dregs, the homeless, and the sort of slums of Chicago, where really, no person really would find themselves caught dead after dark, but you're down there. How did you get connected to that? Do you think? Why? I think I know. I think we'll tie that to you. Never mind. We'll strike that question for the record. Your Honor, I object. Don't spoil that part. So
I'll pencil it in just in case I want to change your mind.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, you've been down here in search of this certain something, this clue that would lead you toward your ultimate goal. And you've come to know these guys, homeless folks, and a priest who goes to comfort them and brings them food and such. Yeah. So perhaps
is this where?
Oh, she's freezing.
The characters and whatnot.
Wait, what'd you say?
Is this where we discuss like the relationship between each character?
Yeah, we can go into that when we get all together. I'm trying to sort out. So, like, what kind of badass car do you drive? If you're
oh my god, I want a Gremlin, dude. Give me one of them.
Fine. So you've got this Gremlin. Yep. Is it in great shape? Is it a pile of crap? Like, what's the deal with it?
All right, so I thought about it again. I thought about either a Supra, or we can go with the 1980s style Supra. Let's go with that. She's in tip-top shape. Nice.
So this fantastic Supra, it just purrs when you start it.
Oh yeah.
Cruising through the mean streets of Chicago for whatever reason. So you will provide a good resource for the group, which is solid. Once all becomes clear and you guys are sort of fated, that'll be nice to have a source of money, considering that all three of the others do not really have it.
Charity.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Do you pack heat everywhere you go? Do you carry a knife or some brass knuckles, mace? What do you? All the above.
Well, back then, what did they have? Guns and nightsticks? I mean,
yeah, they had, like a little 38 snub.
But how can I conceal a stick? Conceal a stick on my tight pants. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'd have to go with a small gun.
Did they carry big ass purses back in the 80s though, or little ones? I think it was little ones, wasn't it? Like little jean purse. I don't know. That's
tiny little shoulder straps.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah. But I'm thinking just, like a small gun.
Yeah. So like a 38 or something, like a revolver, maybe a can of mace or something. My sister had mace when I was a kid. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was body spray or something. And I think I think I was like 9 years old and I blasted. And this is like not pepper spray. This is proper mace she got from the local sheriff. And I put it on me like body spray. You can imagine that went well. Yeah, it sucked. Very cool. So we're nearing the end. Mm-hmm. What are your goals, right? So if you think about this character, why does she, or to what end is she investigating the paranormal? What are her, say, top 3 goals?
Well, she realizes that after what she's seen, there's really not much to look, is what everyone thinks there is. So I'm going with that she's going to be relentless to the point of death if she needs to uncover anything and everything.
So it's like an unhealthy obsession. It's like
Yes, it's very unhealthy.
What's her apartment look like? So she's obsessed, right? Where does she keep track of all her crazy? Does she have like a room in her apartment, or her whole apartment just like plastered with all these little clues?
Fucking like boards, like pegboards and things that are just all linked, and articles, just picture, like newspaper articles, pictures of her dead family members. Picture of her dog randomly, just her dead dog.
Her dead dog?
So
at least she doesn't still have the dead dog. That'd be, yeah.
If you go back to Catwoman's apartment, okay, you know what I'm talking about, Michelle Pfeiffer. If you go back to that, and if you look at that apartment, that's what I'm envisioning, but with a hoarded mess of just plastered evidence and trying to link each piece together.
Now, you mentioned something before about having a brush with the occult or the supernatural. So among your materials, is that the kind of stuff you look into as well? Sort of demonology and,
yes,
kind of darker stuff. So one might get the wrong impression if they paid you a visit to include you in the U.S. Census, right? They would, they might, might think you're a serial killer.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Any addictions? Any bad habits? You chew tobacco?
Chew tobacco. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? I'm kind of lost on that because I'm not really an addict anyway. Yeah. Video games. About it.
I think you have to probably smoke cigarettes because I think everyone did in the 80s. That was back when magazine ads for cigarettes were okay.
Cigarettes. Got it.
Smoke these. You'll have giant muscles.
Big tits.
Yeah, exactly. Fake boobs? Go ahead. Just smoke. It's painless.
Smoke a cigarette.
Nice. So chain smoking, gum chewing, overall warm personality, empathetic. It's going to be interesting. You think you can pull this off with your theater background?
We're going to sure friggin' find out.
Nice. Do you have any questions for me just yet? We're going to talk about roles when we do the bonding, so that'll be kind of like, hey, guys, here's how you know each other, and then here's a general flow of the game. Thank you for doing your homework. You almost could have just got on and streamed this shit by yourself, which should be easy. And I do apologize for the delay getting started, but so the obligatory thing, click like and subscribe to channels and social media. So Nancie, Steve, Mike, and CJ are going to start their journey into this hellish story that I think I've put together in probably just a couple of weeks. So stay tuned. Watch our social media for the warnings and stuff. And thank you guys for watching. But I'm going to end the stream here. Is that okay? Nancie?
Go for it.
Bye.